Welcome to Lyfe Campus, and thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Ezra. I'm your host and your guide as we navigate the twists and turns of life in the diaspora. Today, our episode is going to be a little bit different. My guest said to cancel last minute, but it so happens that when I received the message that they won't be able to join me, I was listening to this clip that I saw on social media. It is a clip from Work Rights Centre, where they were debating about the proposed changes to the UK immigration policy. This is a topic that has been troubling a lot of people for a few months now. Most of the immigrants in the UK, especially those who are on the sponsored route and who have been living with uncertainty, anxiety, fear, not knowing what the future holds. We have seen the headlines with social media posts, WhatsApp messages flying around, often without any clarity. So in this episode, I want to slow things down a little bit. I'm going to share a short clip from the Work Rights Centre that uses a powerful phrase. And the phrase is, retrospectivity is un-British. Guys, this is not a legal advice. This is about understanding the language being used, why it matters, what it could mean for people who are being affected by the potential changes to the UK immigration policy. After the clip, I will break everything down in plain language and talk about what it means emotionally, practically, and mentally for those navigating the uncertainty right now. So let's listen to the clip. I want you to listen not just to what is being said, but how it's being said. Language matters, especially when policies are affecting real human lives. So here it goes.
Migrants entered this country on a contract. The deal was simple. Come to work in the sectors where we need you to work, obey the law, pay your taxes, and you can stay. And changing the terms of that contract after people have spent years building a life here is not just bad policy, it's a breach of trust. It makes Britain look unpredictable and a country like a country that does not keep its word. And so that was a deal, but the government is now considering doubling the wait for settlement from 5 to 10 years and up to 15 years in the case of care workers. And one of the most contentious elements of the consultation is that will apply to people who are already here. You cannot talk about earning settlement if you keep moving the goalposts after the game has started. In my view, retrospectivity is un-British and undermines our sense of fair play. It should be abandoned, and that is the position of the two petitioners who sit in the public gallery, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. I'm also concerned about the proposal to place lower earners, including most care workers, on the 15-year route to settlement. We've heard the points made by others about the problems in recruitment. It will certainly make the position worse. And during that limbo, you cannot progress. As one of the petitioners, Mr Weerasinghe, told me, he must complete the entire qualifying period on the same job code, meaning he has to stay essentially in the same job. So he can't progress, and it means that he can't move beyond the job that he originally came here for. And at the end of the 10 years, he ultimately pays less tax, and that isn't in the interest of the public, and it makes no sense. If we tell a care worker they must wait 15 years for security, while Australia offers it in 3, Canada in 5, they will simply vote with their feet. I'll say something very, very briefly about the no recourse to public funds system. Under that system, we know that many migrant families are just one crisis away from disaster, and depriving migrant families of benefits to which they would otherwise be entitled contradicts the government's own child poverty strategy. If we want sound public finances, we need integration. Integrated families are stable, they are renters, they're homeowners, they're taxpayers. You do not build that stability by keeping people on the edge of destitution for over a decade. I urge the Minister to listen to the voices we've heard in the petition and today in this debate. Drop the retrospective measures, rethink the 15-year wait. Let us be a country that has sustainable economic migration rules, but remain a country that always, always honours its debts, not just its financial ones, but its moral ones too.
So there we have it, guys. You heard it. And I'll go back to that phrase that I pointed out to start with. Retrospectivity is un-British. If it's being used in this way, it's pointing to a very specific principle. That rules should not be changed after people have already acted in good faith based on the existing rules. I think that there is things that are being missed by a lot of British public, because I post a lot of things and I get a lot of comments, negative comments about, oh, British people have to come first, go back to your country and all that. That's fair enough. People have got they've got the platforms and they can say what they want, but it just shows how misinformed people are. It just shows how this whole thing is being misunderstood, because we are talking about a group of people who the government actively looked for to come and fill in the gaps that were available at the time. During the pandemic, these people played a very big role in helping us, helping the economy, helping the people to keep going on. But now that things are settled, the goalpost is being changed. So that's where the issue is. The issue has never been about who has to come first, whether the British people has to come first or whether they come last. No, it's not. That's not the issue. The issue is what has been promised is now under threat. People have made informed decisions based on the issue, based on the promise that was on the table. People left their houses. People left their professions, with the hope that after 5 years they will be able to settle and go back into those professions that they left. So we have people in the care sector at the moment who came under the sponsorship visa, and they're doctors, they're nurses, they're engineers, they're teachers. They made the decision to come here based on the promise from the British government that people will be eligible to apply for settlement after 5 years. And now the problem is really the goalpost is being changed mid-game. So it's like when you see a football game going on, and one of the managers realize that their team is losing or whatever, they're not happy with something, then mid-game they request for the rules of the game to be changed to favor their team. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So these people came to the country, helped the country when the country needed them most. It's very un-British to discard them now, because basically that's what is being proposed here. Just change it. We don't need them anymore. They can go back. There is another way to look at this. We are not saying policies shouldn't change. We are not saying that laws shouldn't change. We know the one thing that's constant in this world is change. Therefore, we can't expect that the British government cannot change the laws. They cannot change the policies. No, that's not what we're asking for. What we are asking for is fairness to those people who came and helped us when we needed them the most. Fairness to those people who are right now in limbo. They've been in limbo for months now. They don't know, they can't plan for the future. They don't know what their future holds. After being here for 3 years, 4 years, you're thinking after one more year, I'll be able to apply to settle and then go into a different industry and not tied to the same employer with no progression, no hope for a better pay. These people are not looking for benefits. These people are not looking to finish the 5 years, get a settlement, and then register on benefits. They're looking to go into the professions that they already have. These are educated people. They've got their professions. And if someone moves from a care sector and go and start working as an engineer, that means that person is going to pay more taxes. They are going to contribute more to the UK government. That's all we are asking for, that fairness. So this when these pathways are suddenly questioned and altered, it creates more inconvenience, creates instability, creates anxiety for those people who are affected. This is why the issue is not just political, it's deeply human. However, it is important for those who are in this situation, those who are affected by these potential changes, to understand that whatever is happening, these debates, the discussions, and after that, it's just part of the process. This is what happens when changes are happening, when policies are being changed. There's a process to go that they go through, and this is part of it. So it does not mean that the policies will not change. It does not mean that everything will stay the same. And it does not mean that fear-based messages on social medias are accurate. They're not. What it means is that there are principles, legal challenges, and accountability mechanisms that matter. And that public scrutiny plays a role in shaping outcomes. So what should you take from this if you are directly affected? I think the first thing that you have to do is to stay informed, but be very selective about the sources of your information. There's a lot of information online, but it doesn't mean that all the information that you find online is correct. Be very selective about the sources. Verify where you're getting your information. Okay. If you hear information from someone, a friend, a relative, check that information for yourself before you panic. Secondly, document your journey. When you arrived, what were the conditions when you arrived, and what was promised at the time? And third, do not navigate this on your own. There are a lot of people who are in this situation. There are a lot of groups now that have been formed to help share information, share advice, and guide each other. So try and find those groups. Try and talk to someone. There are a lot of resources that you can use. Last week I spoke to Connect 360 UK, which is a group of immigrants who came together and formed a platform, or kind of a society where they can help those who are navigating this uncertainty, give them advice, give them help, signpost them to the right advice, information, and all those things. So find yourself a group, find someone you can talk to, and finally protect your mental health. I think being in a foreign land, and some people are here on their own, you don't have families, and you're working long hours. All the information that you can get is on the social media when you're scrolling before you go to bed. And by the time you go to bed, you're exhausted, you're worried about what you've just seen on social media. That is not good for your mental health. So the important thing is protect your mental health. And one of the most simplest thing that you can do to protect your mental health is to acknowledge the situation that you are in, that this is happening, this is life, this is what it is. But also find someone to share with, someone to talk to, especially when you're struggling. It's important to say it out. It's important to share your problems. My role is not to predict the outcome or spread panic. It is to help you understand what's being said, help you to ask better questions, and to feel a little less alone whilst we're waiting for clarity, because we are all unsure. Everything is up in the air at the moment. No one has got the answers. Obviously, the people who are making the decisions, the politicians who are in the rooms where these are being discussed, they have more information than us. But until it's officially announced in terms of what the changes are, no one really knows. And sometimes we can just speculate, and we can discuss these things, and you can take different views based on what you are listening to. But the important thing to remember is no one really knows, and nothing has been decided until we hear the outcome. If they have decided in the closed doors, for us, the public, it's not been decided. You will only be decided once it's been public, it's made public, and it's been announced. Then we know exactly what's happening. But in the meantime, stay informed. Find the right people to support you. It's important to get the right support for yourself. As we come to the end of the episode, I want to acknowledge how heavy this moment can be for a lot of people. Living with uncertainty, especially when it affects your status, your family, your future, it is emotionally exhausting. If you are feeling exhausted, if you're feeling anxious, unsettled, or overwhelmed, that response is completely fine. It's important. It's okay. Just acknowledge it. That's what's happening, and that's the first step in dealing with what you're going through. What I hope you take away from this today is not fear, but clarity. Understand that the language being used, the principles being referenced, and the process involved gives you more power than reacting to headlines or speculation. Please continue to seek information from credible sources, document your journey, and reach out to people when you need it. You don't have to carry this on your own. This is not the last conversation that we are going to have on this topic. It is an ongoing topic. I'll continue to bring experts, advocates, and lived experience on Lyfe Campus podcast so that we can navigate the changes with honesty, dignity, and care. Thank you very much for being with me today and listening to me. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you. You've been listening to Lyfe Campus, African solutions to African problems. Thank you.